Thank you very much for joining us again on the Ladbrokes Social Club this week. Can't believe it's episode 4 already. This season is flying by. Lots to look back on from the weekend, all the League Cup matches, loads of social media reaction. Daniel Caw from Talking Boz is with us again. Lots to get through.
I can't believe, as you say, the season is already, 3 weeks old? Crazy. And I just can't believe I'm back, to be honest, but I'm back.
No, I'm stunned. I'm actually shocked. Who'd be a manager? Peter Grant's with us as well. Good to see you. Alloa manager, yeah. Lovely to have you here.
To the party.
Welcome to the party, Peter. Hey, you've got him going early on that. Alex Ray, as you can see, is here as well. I was asking Mark Wilson last week. He's a Ladbrokes ambassador. I hear you are as well.
Absolutely, yes.
What a title that is.
Yeah, I know. Big title. Lord Mayor of Strathblane as well.
Yeah, is it working well for you?
Can't complain.
Good. As you've already seen, Peter's on the show with us. And Peter, Daniel's been looking back over social media and some tweets and some pictures in the past. Now, we have found an absolute belter of you in a hamster wheel. I know it's a managerial merry-go-round, but this is taking it to new extremes. What on earth was happening here?
I'm trying to even work that out myself. I think that was the treadmill. Treadmills then, before they ran out the gyms. That was the old treadmill. I'm sure it was.
Try to get home. Took him 3 weeks.
I like the boots I've got. I think that's my match boots. I think I had on there.
Absolutely lovely. I can just imagine the conversation with the photographer. Will you get in there, Peter? And you said yes.
I think that was to practice my running. People knew I was slow, but I didn't realise it was that.
Good.
We have found a bit of a better one. Back in the glory days.
That was going to the opposition.
I'm surprised you're sitting so close to him, by the way.
Absolutely. You can see the studs were up there. That's used to going to Alec.
Yeah.
that's what used to look
We go back a long way. We go back to Kiss nightclub in Albufeira 30 years ago.
What happened in there?
Kiss.
Right, well, steady. Let's not give away trade secrets. That's a different tweet. Don't go that one.
True.
Shall we have a wee look back at the weekend then?
Absolutely.
Yesterday's match is starting with Rangers. Were
Yes.
you impressed? I mean, it wasn't ideal conditions, was it?
No, not at all. The thing that surprised me, Darrell, was the changes. I didn't expect 10 changes. It shows you the strength and depth that Rangers now have. I think they were very comfortable within the game. The conditions were really, really poor. And again, I was really impressed by Aribo. His technical ability, particularly in a difficult surface. And also, with his feet, it's really, really impressive stuff.
And going by the tweets, the Rangers fans were loving his performance as well, Daniel.
On social media, Joe Aribo was the kind of man in the moment yesterday. I know it was only his 5, but he put in a pretty good performance. Classy display in the middle of the pitch.
I think the pitch is a factor. You were saying it was very dry prior to it. You've got a wind of 50 mile an hour, and as you say, when you've got good feet, technical ability, it's encouraging.
And Defoe had a good performance as well, scored a good goal. I know you've worked with him in the past, and you rate him really highly, don't you?
He's probably the best finisher I've ever seen in the 18-yard box. He's fantastic. I had him at Bournemouth, had him for a short period of time at West Ham. Terrific young player, but as I say, an exciting player to watch. He hits the ball very, very quick in the box, round the box, but an unbelievable professional. I'm delighted to see he's doing so well, even though it's for Rangers.
Yeah.
How did you manage to do that through gritted teeth?
I can't believe he
No,
said
they're still
that. And I know you were asking some Rangers fans on social media last night, if you had to start in a big game, would it be Morelos or Defoe? Who would they go with? And how did that poll end?
There was only about 400 votes, but it was very in favour of Morelos. I think it was like 75% to Morelos.
Yeah.
I was quite surprised by that personally. I think Morelos, fantastic player, but Defoe is banging him away at the minute. 6 goals in 7 games, I think, so far this season. I know, Alec, you're more of a Morelos man.
I think in the big games, I think Morelos would be the go-to guy.
So you would trust him in the biggest match?
Yeah, I know where you're going with that, Darrell. Obviously, the discipline was a factor last year. I just feel as if when it comes to the big games, Morelos is the go-to guy. I like the competition between the two of them. I think it's healthy when you've got guys that are scoring goals on a regular basis. I like the rotation as well, and it's working at the moment. And if Morelos can manage to stay in the pitch, he seems to have showed a little bit more maturity. I was watching the Kilmarnock game a couple of weeks ago, and Broadfoot's trying to lay one on him as you do, and you would do that as a senior pro just to try and goad them into getting a red card. But he just seems to be in a good place at the moment.
He seems to be the pick for the European games at the moment. You'd imagine against Legia Warsaw, it's going to be Morelos, the way the rotation's working, Defoe playing domestically. But in a big game, big European match, if one chance came around, who would you like on the end of it?
Defoe, 100%. Absolutely no doubt about that whatsoever. Anything in the box, he'll finish. Morelos scores his goals, but not as good as Defoe at that.
I actually agree with Peter in terms of his prolific Defoe.
With the one opportunity?
Yeah, with that opportunity. I think, we're only taking it as a one-hit wonder there. If a chance presents itself, there's a lot more connotations to a game, bringing people into play and so forth.
Does Morelos still have to deliver a bit more in the big games though? I know a lot of people keep on saying he hasn't scored against Celtic yet.
Yeah, but the actual, you're absolutely right. He has to score against them, and then he gets that monkey off his back.
He has to stay on the pitch.
Yeah, but the key thing where Rangers fell short last year for me was that they never, done it against Livingston. They never done it against Dundee away. They're the games that you actually have to win. Morelos has done it on a regular basis against these teams.
And the final one mentioned there was Philip Helander, £3.5 million spent on him. He got his debut yesterday.
He did get his debut yesterday. I thought, again, I know it comes with the caveat that it was only his Fife in the League Cup, but I thought he kind of strolled it at the back.
What was that word you used there?
That was good.
I can't believe there's two people throwing caveat into the mix in one.
I thought that was a
one
scam.
season.
It's definitely not a scam.
Honestly, God.
I forgot who it was. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
You can see something in Stuart Robin having the wee fella here, can't you?
See us two looking at each other as if to say, what's that?
You better hope none of them are ever on the show again. You're in big trouble.
Wee Chrissy will be watching the day. Will be like, good on you.
That's my boy.
When Rangers pay £3.5 million for a player, though, you'd expect him to play his fair share of games, wouldn't you? And at the moment, it's Goldson and Katic in the centre of defence. Seems to be hard to get the two of them out in the biggest games.
I think Katic has come back really hungry. He has performed really well at a good level, struck up a good partnership. And if we go back to this time last year, he did the same. And then I think it was against Villarreal.
Yes.
He put in the other boy, didn't he?
Yeah, Worrell.
Joe Worrell, yes. They put him in, and I was quite surprised because I thought he'd struck up a decent partnership initially, and it was a bit too much rotation for me. I'd like to see Rangers have a partnership, cement that, and then if he comes in, he's got an opportunity to cement his
But
place.
there's a lot of competition because George Edmondson signed as well, so there's four centre
I
halves.
think that's the big difference now. When you look at Rangers now, you look at their bench, and people say it's East Fife. Great respect to East Fife. East Fife have done exceptionally well this season. They beat Dundee United at Tannadice.
Beat Hearts on penalties.
Hearts as well, so give them great respect. So Rangers were very professional in their job, and I think Steve and Gary that have got something going there, the respect of, they've got the players fighting to get in the team. I always say that about a training ground. There's nothing better when you've got good players on the training pitch with you and bringing players in to excite the players that's already there.
Yeah.
And that's what it seems as if they've done this summer. You know, they've filled the dressing room up with good players, all fighting for positions to get in the team, and that's only going to make the team better.
One other game yesterday, as you know, Dundee against Aberdeen. The Dons left it late, didn't they, Peter? I mean, what's the kind of social media reaction to it? I know it's a victory for Aberdeen, but are the fans happy or not, Daniel?
I mean, we've kind of pulled a tweet out there. Genuinely can't believe there's Aberdeen fans wanting McInnes out. I mean, that's
You found a positive one.
one positive one. Even though Aberdeen won yesterday, I think the mood on social media was pretty down on Derek McInnes. They obviously needed extra time to get through. It wasn't the prettiest of performances, but then again they got through. You know, it's being a manager, Peter.
After the week they had, though, St Mirren defeat Rijeka during the week, and they needed that, didn't
Listen,
Big time.
Derek's done an unbelievable job there, and he's got some fantastic players there. You know, I said it earlier on, look at the players that they've got. Who's Scott McKenna talking about £6 or £7 million? I mean, young Ferguson's been an excellent player for them. Joe Lewis, a top goalkeeper, you know. Yeah. So I think he's got a fantastic squad there. And we know the season's kicking off. We know it's very, very difficult. Players are coming back, trying to find their feet. People talk about 5-6 games. So Alex Ferguson used to say it was after Christmas the league started, you know. But there's no doubt Aberdeen will bounce back, and Derek's done a wonderful job.
It's a noisy minority on social media. They always scream the loudest, and it's ridiculous to actually
You think it is a minority, though?
I do, yeah.
In this case?
Absolutely, yeah absolutely.
Okay. Kilmarnock fans? Not overly pleased, but they got through at the weekend against Hamilton and needed extra time as well. That was a big result for them. Yeah.
Absolutely massive, because you know the start of the season on the back of a really impressive season under Stevie Clarke, and to get through that cup tie, because I seriously think, we're obviously saying it's ridiculous so early, we've just mentioned Derek McInnes. I think pressure would have been applied if he hadn't got through in that one.
But cup ties are about winning. That's what people tend to forget. I mean, we won a double winning year, and as I say, the reason we beat Mullum.
Who was that?
Stranraer. Yeah. But as I say, Stranraer should have put us out.
I can't believe it's only took you 10 minutes to mention that on the show.
But Stranraer hit the bar, and people forget, they talk about the double winning year, but we should have been out the competition. And that's what cup competition is about, winning your game at football in front of you, and all these boys have done that.
It's a small point as well, but Steve Clarke, I don't think, reached the quarter final of the cup as well, and if Alessio had lost at the weekend, just think the kind of the Maori been
backlash, yeah.
And Partick Thistle did well to knock out Ross County and go back to the Friday night game. Hearts, and we're talking about managers under pressure, but Craig Levein was feeling it from the fans, and then they've gone and put a really good display on against the Steelmen.
But yeah, again, building the squad, getting them playing together, new boys coming into the squad, integrating. That's all important at the start of the season. I mean, in Scotland, the season's kicked off very, very early, isn't it? Trying to get up to speed. So all the players had hardly a break.
Yeah.
And you've got to get a freshness in about the players. And I'm sure once the season kicks off, you'll see everybody getting back into their usual positions.
I think one of the key things as well, I think Souttar's injured, Naismith's injured, and you've
Jamie
also,
Walker's now.
I can't believe it, because he's actually done really well to track back, and he gets a kick in the back, his Achilles, resulting in a broken leg. That's a body blow for Craig, because he started the season well.
Carried a lot of bad luck, but one man the fans are loving, young Aaron Hickey again.
I thought personally stood out like a sore thumb the other night for a boy at 17. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. We obviously tweeted from Talking Boys the other night that he could. Hearts fans won't thank us for saying this, but he could be a shout potentially for Celtic and Rangers.
Absolutely ridiculous throwing that out. It's just, the boys only play the hands.
You're not having that.
No, potential. He's got potential, but these guys have already got him sold.
I wish I'd stayed in bed this morning. I tell you that.
Hearts fans are unsubscribing by the moment.
I'm not sure if he did play against Aberdeen last year at the end of the season, near the end of the season. I think he came on in the game or somewhere he started.
He did, and I think he played against Celtic as well, and then the cup final.
He was excellent.
He was.
He was fantastic, you know, and he showed that mentality that he can play, the young kid, you know, and great, as you said, talking to Craig Levine, he gave him the opportunity. Some managers want to give you an opportunity. Craig's given him that opportunity to do that as a young man.
I don't know if you guys agree with that, Daniel McIver. It's absolutely terrifying how good Aaron Hickey is. He's going to be one of our highest priced academy graduates. I don't know how, it's hard to quantify
that,
but...
Well, listen, he's definitely got ability. In fact, I'd be surprised if he's let Seed off out his back pocket. You know, he had him. he was brilliant. And see, you've got to take into consideration, this is just a kid that's finding his way. But he's got that physical attribute. He bombs up and down. And he's got a big future ahead of him.
What is it about Scotland and left backs? We seem to produce a few of them.
But that's why I've been away 23 years now, and we keep knocking the Scottish game, but they keep producing young players coming through, and I think we're seeing a lot more of them now because of the opportunities they're getting.
Yeah.
And that's when you've got to talk to Derek McInnes, Craig Levines and all these, giving these guys an opportunity. So we've got to remember that also.
The Hearts fans happier, weren't they, with the manager?
You mentioned that a moment ago, Darrell, but we've kind of pointed that, or shone the spotlight on Craig Levine, the kind of stick he's been getting on social media in recent weeks. I think it's only fair that after a big result of that we kind of show that the fans are kind of responding to it. Big night for Craig Levine, the players rose to the occasion. Good result for Hearts, good performances all over the park. Levine must stay. I don't think Craig Levine pays much attention to Twitter, but if he did...
Well, he pays attention to certain people on Twitter, doesn't he?
He does.
Yes.
He does. Was the one that was in here a few weeks ago.
Oh, don't, yeah. Well, listen, he's obviously had his spark with Michael over the years. But on saying that, I was a bit concerned the way Motherwell, you know, a bit toothless really for me. You know,
good point,
yeah, you know, they're trying to play in the right manner, but, you know, if there's no cutting edge, we've seen this with Dundee last year as well.
But Stevie's tried to do that. He's went from doing one way to going another way, because of the personnel he's got in the players, and sometimes that takes time.
Yeah.
You know, it takes time. You've got to
time
build
last
in.
season.
And you know, you've lost two of his major players.
Yeah.
You know, who were major players for him last year. One with Rangers, one through injury. So
Exactly.
that's a big problem as well.
Yeah. Now, we've mentioned the managers a few times, but you've had a look at this the other way, because you've been amazed by the amount of fans on social media who've been hitting out against their managers already this season, saying they should be sacked. And you've got a cross-section here, and you've got a little campaign to start, don't you, Daniel?
Absolutely. So I just want to touch on this. Obviously, Peter being a manager, I kind of feel like you'll empathise with this. So Tommy Wright, 10 for Tommy Wright to go, Inept Tactics. This one, obviously, the aforementioned Craig Levine, Hearts fan saying he has to go. Angelo Alessio, we've mentioned, getting a bit of stick. Someone calling the Italian Lee Clark. And even Paul Heckingbottom out right now. I mean, the guy's just in the door.
And that was after the defeat at Ibrox, the heavy defeat, but still seems mad, doesn't it?
Exactly. I think it's time for us to save our manager.
This is your hashtag.
This is our hashtag. Hashtag save our managers. I think it's time that we actually get behind our managers. It's mid-August. We're, 2-3 weeks into the season. Already half the league. It feels like their fans are calling for managers to be sacked, calling for their heads. It's crazy, Darrell. Crazy.
Well,
I think fans need to be a bit more realistic.
I
Get
get a
behind
feel
the boss.
you'll get behind this, won't you?
Well, obviously, because even before I became the Alloa manager, you look at it and you think to yourself, it's incredible. You know, you see the successful managers have always had a bit of time. Always. You know, and you've got to try and build that trust. You look what Craig's done, and you look what Derek's done. It's been phenomenal. They've got players that's worth X, Y, and Z amount of money, as I keep talking about. That's success. Let's be honest. You know, in Scottish football, what is success was getting on between Celtic and Rangers at one stage. That was like trying to get above them. You know, Celtic's an unbelievable run. You know, going on an unbelievable run, winning all the trophies for the last 3 years.
It's a noble campaign, but is it feasible? Is it realistic?
I actually don't take these guys serious. Genuinely, you're talking about. I don't. They're two games in, and their team obviously take a loss. and then all of a sudden they're going, manager must go.
Yeah.
It's just like an emotional reaction, and it's just like the worst case scenario. Get the manager
It's
out.
football now, though, isn't it?
No,
The
listen, I take
demands
it on
if you
board.
lose 2 or 3 games.
The key thing is that the board members do not buy into this madness. 2 games in, you've gave the guy the budget, you've brought in all these new players, you're trying to gel them, some of them are not even up to speed. Still got about another 2 weeks till the window closes, and people are saying get the manager out. Madness.
Well, it's fan power, isn't it? We saw it at Celtic Park again at the weekend. The Green Brigade had a banner. I'm sure you noticed it. Effectively, like, they're calling for the board to act. They want money spent. The Kieran Tierney money is there. Neil Lennon was feeling it, I think, the heat after the Cluj defeat in Europe. Will the board back him, do you think?
Well,
No.
that's what we're saying. It's always important. Like Rangers have done this year, freshen the training ground. I think it's so important, the quality of player you bring in. And the player you bring in's got to excite the players that's already there. Celtic have got top quality players. You've won trophies after trophy. Now they've got to bring players in to back them up. You've lost Kieran, you've got to bring in quality to replace that. And we know it's not always possible because the finances are completely different. You look, non-league down in England are playing more than the Premier League clubs here. That's fact.
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
So it's very, very difficult. It's very difficult. Apart from the...
But we're talking Celtic here, though, Peter.
Yeah, but it's still difficult to try and get the players you want to take it to the next level.
To the Champions League level.
Absolutely.
I agree with you.
Celtic maybe be starting at D level. People talk about A, B, C and D. They may be starting at D level because that's where the price is, because I'm seeing pub players paying £20 million for them now.
But how much investment do you think is required there right now? And how much money will the manager get to spend from
as a manager,
the
you
Kieran Tierney
want
money?
as much as you possibly get to get
Do you
the
feel he will
quality
get
players.
it though, Peter? Will he get
It's
the backing?
difficult what you talk about. How do you get the players? As I say, it's not the players. Neil will know the players. He wants to get in. 100% he'll know the players. Can he afford them? That's different. Because there'll be a lot of clubs looking at the players Celtic are looking at, and it's very, very difficult to do that. But you have to freshen your dressing room always. That is a fact. But it's not Neil Lennon's fault. We know that's been a problem. Trying to get players to come to Celtic, and that's no disrespect. Trying to get them to come to the Scottish game. That's a problem at this moment in time.
Fans clearly were not happy though. That performance against Dunfermline is not what they expect, and Celtic Park was very quiet, wasn't it?
It was half empty, and the fans that were there, as we say, were quite kind of
Was
discontent.
there not a silent protest as well?
I think there was. I think
Silent protest. So there's clearly things wrong there from that respect, because they're trying to put a message across. Now, the interesting question you put across there, are they going to back their manager? They've already spent 12 million, Peter. 12 million so far. So even if you bring another couple of players in at 3 or 4 million, it's the best part of 18 to 20 million in a transfer window, which is probably as much as anyone's going to spend in a
Well,
while.
you've got to give Rangers credit. I mean, I've seen Aribo a lot last year, at Charlton, whatever. You could see all day he was a top quality player.
So you didn't think perhaps
You know.
he would have gone to Scotland? You thought he
No,
would have
it
gone
wasn't
somewhere
even
else
the
in
fact. I
England?
knew people would be interested, but
Yes.
I think it's very good scouting,
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic, scouting, because there are players there. There is absolutely no doubt there is players there. You can go and get them and you'll find them. But it's going out and getting them and seeing where you are. People you sign somebody at 200,000, you think, well, he's a good player. But if you sign the same player for £2 million, you say, oh, he's a flop because he costs £2 million. So it's the quality's there. You can go and find it, but you've got to be hungry to go and find
Peter,
it.
do you think that's the network then? In terms of the scouting network, what's actually available?
A lot of people go on analysis now and look at videos of games. It's not like the way
Feet
you
on the
see-
ground.
Feet on the ground. Go and
Yeah.
see them. When you're at the
Good
game,
point.
it's completely different.
Yeah.
It's completely different. Forget looking at the television. I don't care. That can help you. But the television was there all the years ago. The chief scouts always went to the game.
I tell you, just to finish it there, I better see you #save our managers this week. on
Oh no, I'm
Twitter.
very much for it.
Better see
You're
it.
behind it.
Better see it.
100%. All you get is the keyboard warriors who are like Johnny Bravo and Tony Montana and all these guys. They don't even accountable. Who are you guys?
I'm just really happy this is a social media show that we're doing at the moment. The support's
your
going to be
party now.
outstanding for you next week. And you're on Twitter as well. Well, one team we've not talked about from the weekend and their victory is Hibs. And it was a job done in the end, wasn't it, against another championship outfit in Morton. But Peter, I guess you just get through these games. That's all that matters. And while
Absolutely.
you're chatting away with them, I'm going to try and get a Hibs player on the phone. But
Absolutely. Morton's a difficult team to play, and I knew it'd be a tough game for Hibs. We played Hibs earlier when we played Morton last week, who turned us over a little bit. So David's got his team playing very well. Every player in that team knows what they're doing. And as I say, Paul will just be delighted to get through that game.
I'm trying to call Scott Allan. I know you know him pretty well, Alex, but hopefully he'll answer. He's been instrumental all season for Hibs. In fact, here he is. Good to chat to you, Scott. Thank you for being on the Ladbrokes Social Club. How are you?
I'm not bad, how are you?
Very well, thank you very well. Look, we've got a few characters on the show. You might recognise some of these guys. Alex,
Yeah.
Right.
Peter Grant, Daniel Coffey, talking boys. 4 goals this season. Must be quite pleased with that return.
I'll take that at this stage in the season, but hopefully get some more.
And I know a few of us discussed the pass at Ibrox a couple of weeks ago. In fact, Daniel has already given you pass of the season, and we were only 2 weeks in at the time, so must be quite pleased with that.
Nah, doesn't count when you get beat 6-1, does it?
It does do Daniel.
But the pleasing thing for you, I'll bring the guys in a moment, but the pleasing thing must be all the attacking options you've got in front of you. I know there's talk about Canberry perhaps leaving the club, but he chipped in again at the weekend. You two seem to link up really well together.
Yeah, I think he knows obviously when I'm on the ball he's going to make runs in behind, and it's ideal for me when I've got a striker who wants to play in the shoulder. So that's also a big help for me. We've got Horgan and obviously get the boy Middleton in who's got real pace, so look forward to it.
Alex, bring in.
Yeah, obviously, well, you've got a couple of assists and 4 goals. What's your targets for the season personally? Because obviously you've had a wee bit of time, it's been stop-start throughout your career. I just feel as if this is a great opportunity for you to kick on.
I think my main target is just to stay fit and be on the pitch for as many minutes as possible. Obviously, targets now, I'd like to try and get to like 10 goals for Christmas. That would be probably my biggest target.
You've got a big fan as well next to Alex here and Peter Grant. You were singing praises of Scott Allan before the show, weren't you?
No, I'm just delighted he's back playing because I think he's a terrific young talent. I think he's a boy that should be on the pitch playing. Fantastic player for Hibs, but I love the way he plays, and if I was a striker I'd be delighted if he was behind me, that's for sure. And if I was playing in midfield with him, I'd be wanting to give him the ball all the time. As I say, it'd be great for Scottish football if he's playing, because he is a young talent, but he's a very, very talented boy, clever player. Young Middleton will help him as well. He's got good movement up front, but nice to see you back playing, so I think that's the most important thing for you. In the position you play, there's not many like you in the division, and the teams will be making it difficult for you because they want to stop the top players playing. So you have to find a way all the time, and you've got the talent to do that.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
And Daniel has been looking at some of your Twitter and Instagram, is it history as well? I think it's Instagram as well. So, and we've been looking at some of the tweets about you, and I can tell you, you'll be happy to know that these are very positive at the moment. So things must be going well for now. But go on, Daniel, what have you seen?
I don't want to embarrass you too much, Scott, mate, but at home at Hibs, if Scott Allan's come back to Hibs isn't enough to renew your season ticket, then I don't know what is. Graham Shaw, 62, buzzing now. First game of the season for me after being away. Looking forward to seeing new faces, and welcome back Scott Allan, of course. Marky Boy Smith, Scott Allan is an easy one to answer. He will be an integral part of Hibs midfield next year, and we will see the best of him again. Another thing I would say as well, Scott, looking through your Instagram recently, you just look a lot happier to be back playing. Obviously, celebrating the winner a couple of weeks ago, just kind of different mood, eh?
You can't buy that feeling of listen a year out of the game on a Saturday not playing. Obviously, the guys there who played the game know. I don't know if the same happened for them, but especially when you're fit and you can't play,
I missed a fortnight one time, Scotty boy.
Scott, could I ask you something as well? Like Stevie Mallon playing with you, does that help you?
Yeah.
Does that help you having somebody that can see passes as well to give you the ball? That's what it looks like to me.
I played in teams where Alex was, and you'd be in the hole and you wouldn't get the ball. You'd make the angles and it wouldn't come through. But I feel that Hibs, obviously the fans expect a certain way of football, and we've got some good footballers here. It's just about, I think as a team we just need to, we're ready to click, and with guys like Stevie Mann, as well, he's going to give us goals this season. And the runners in behind that we spoke about, that's ideal for me.
Scotty, just before we go, how important is the manager? I know Hecky Farrow was at Sunderland, he was a younger player, but he really taken to the management game. He seems to have been impressive.
Yeah, he's been excellent for myself. Done a lot of stuff on and off the park with him. Really thorough in how he goes about his business, and I think he's been excellent. And I'm happy to be working with him.
Last thing, Scott.
Oh, one more.
Scott, don't listen to Alec. Pass the season, mate. Well done.
Past the season. my hand's actually getting sore holding this phone up, pointing at these guys. But I just wanted to ask you one more thing before you go. Have you managed to get rid of Joe Newell yet?
I have. He's out, so I'm not getting the homemade dinners made for me anymore. That's the disappointing thing. But yeah, he gets shipped out a couple of weeks ago. Good.
So if anyone doesn't know, by the way, they were sharing a flat. But I think he called you his Scottish girlfriend.
Hey, send him my regards, because that was Pete's best friend down at Peterborough.
There you go. Hey, Peter's boy's best friend, apparently.
I went down at Peterborough when they were, yeah.
Good. On that note, I'll leave you. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Really appreciate your time, Scott. All the very best for the next few weeks. Thank you.
All the best,
Cheers, Scott. Thank you. There you go. And as we already said, they got past Morton at the weekend. And on that, I wanted to ask you about the Championship, because that division this season, obviously as Alloa manager, is so hard to get out of, isn't it? There's a lot of teams competing once again to get up and to stay in the second tier.
I mean, there's a lot of teams in there, as you say, who have been in the Premier League before. Ourselves and that are both the only two part-time clubs in it. So we know our work's cut out, but we have the talent. There is absolutely no doubt. We'll put a fight up every week, whoever we play against, and we're more than capable of doing that because we've got talented boys. And I've watched every team now. And it's been very impressive the way they go about their business, the way they're getting coached. And I think it's a very, very difficult league. As I say, if I was putting a coupon on, I wouldn't bet in any games because there is no favourites for any particular game, that's for sure.
At Ladbrokes, I think they're trying the opposite, Peter, but you know, it's maybe self-defeating. However, you've just mentioned Arbroath, so that next game on the card on Saturday's huge, isn't it, for you?
Everyone, because we played very well against Thistle. We didn't play so well against Morton, obviously. And as I said, our Arbroath game, we played them in the Cup earlier on in the season, made it very difficult for us. At Gayfield, we won the game, obviously. But listen, I've got a good group of players who have done exceptionally well, and I'm more than confident they can win games of football, absolutely.
And Dundee United, away Dunfermline, next looks like a tasty fixture. Dundee United are the favourites in the division to win the title.
They're probably the Man City division. Yeah. They've bought the striker. You get a striker who scores goals. You know, they've got them. They spent a lot of money on them. Expressed it.
Osman So as well.
Yeah.
Clark.
You look at, as you say, you sometimes judge a team with what their bench is, and that's one thing, they've got a massive bench again.
Will Dundee push them, do you think?
I think everybody in that division will push them, because everybody will ask questions them every game. You know, I think that's who the division's going to be.
Who do you fancy?
I think Dundee United, just because of the firepower. And when you look at the strength and depth, they really are throwing a lot of money at it. Now, that doesn't always guarantee. Mold Team Dundee will put up a fight as well.
Yeah.
They've brought in the boy McPake as well.
From Rangers on
good
loan,
addition, yeah, absolutely.
Alloa?
Absolute beer pit. That
It's tough, but you're loving it, aren't you?
Oh,
You're
it's
loving being back.
fantastic. Love being in the game, and as you say, I use it as a full-time job.
Yeah.
Because I owe that to these players, because they've been fantastic since the day now I've come in the door. They've given everything, and it lets you see the other side of it. You know, these guys work their socks off during the day in their jobs, but then they come into training and they're like men possessed. So I'm delighted to be back involved and really enjoying it.
Is the chairman paying you the full-time wage, Peter?
Doesn't need to, just give me the job is the most important thing.
Paying in advance as well, because you never know these days, do you? You always want in advance. Should we have a look at the Premiership fixtures to come next weekend as well? Premiership is back, as you know, guys. A couple of games that probably stand out on this Saturday. First of all, was the Lanarkshire Derby.
El Clasico.
Yeah, exactly. And Kilmarnock Aberdeen. For both of those teams, it feels like a big one.
Yeah,
I think we're saying that just about every week.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you look at Kilmarnock in the league, it's at the stone bottom, so they'll be looking to try and get off the mark. Aberdeen be trying to kind of improve on their performances of late. They may well, sometimes a win in the cup gives you that wee boost to kick on, doesn't it? And they've got Bryson back as well, which is important.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at all the games we talked about the Championship. You look at all the games there. When Celtic and Rangers are not playing, the other games are all equal near enough. You know, but that's the way it works, because they're all capable of beating each other. You know, Aberdeen, you've got a strong squad. I always fancy them. Hibs are doing exceptionally well. I think their signings have been good as well. You know, young Glenn Middleton in there, and I think he'll be a top signing for them. But they're just about to click. I think you've got Scott Allan playing the performances he's putting in at this moment in time. So I think it's a very good league this year. It'll be a fight right to the finish, at both ends.
Anything stand out for you in the odds?
The two that I would point out, I think Hamilton at home to Motherwell, 13-5 is pretty good odds. Hamilton started pretty well. I know they obviously lost at weekend, but it took extra time and they beat Kelly the week before. The other one, Ross County, better than evens at home to beat Livingston. I think that jumps out to me.
Generous.
I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, it's generous, but getting back to that Hamilton one, listen, with the odds, you would think they would have a good chance on the AstroTurf. I just feel as if Motherwell are a bit toothless at the moment.
But they're favourites in that game. And then Sunday, of course, St Mirren Rangers and Celtic Hearts. A couple of good fixtures there, Peter.
Yeah, terrific. You know, Hearts, as you say, this is what Craig will be looking at, playing against Celtic, because that's what people will be looking to see how much they've progressed. Celtic are obviously playing under a little bit of pressure at this moment in time, you know, but I always think they've got a lot of players at Celtic that have played in big games now and they can handle the pressure. So I think that'll be the telling one in that one. I fancy Celtic there, I must admit.
Good. We'll see how they go anyway. We can chat about it then next week. We wanted to talk about fantasy football as well. Now, no points over the weekend because the League Cup games were the ones that were getting played, so no Premiership matches. But everyone's back involved this weekend. Alex is changing his team by the minute. Again, I think. What's happening with your team?
Every week.
Managers out.
Save our managers.
I'm sacking myself. I've battered myself on social media. No, I've been chopping and changing a little bit. I'm manipulating the rules, changing the captain every week, changing the personnel, and I think I went from about 12,000 down to about 3,000.
On the leaderboard, so you're actually moving up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, why is he so surprised?
Because you were so far down. That's why I'm surprised. That's a heck of a leap.
Yes, I'm on a roll.
Good.
Now that I know the rules.
Who's definitely going to be in your team this weekend when you see those fixtures? Any must pick for you?
Well, I'll wait and see because of the European ties during the week, and then I'll pick accordingly because
I like your thinking.
Yes, and then I think at home you have to then the Old Firm becomes paramount. I've had Cosgrove in about it, but
he cost me last time.
But
He didn't play.
Well, this is the thing. It always does when he doesn't play. But
It's a fair point.
I think the key thing for me is always try and think about the home games for the Old Firm because you're expecting goals.
Well, Rangers away at St Mirren perhaps, and Defoe playing the domestic games. Will he be in your team?
It depends on Thursday night. I'm not giving nothing away because I know Peter doesn't know quite up to speed in the rules.
And Alex knows the team obviously for Thursday already from what he's saying. You've got some must picks, don't you? You think
a few names that jumped out at me. Helander obviously made his debut at the weekend. I know you pointed out to me before, it was technically an own goal at the weekend.
It was an own goal,
but yeah, maybe get to him.
He was involved.
But for an Old Firm defender in fantasy football, he's a lot cheaper than his kind of counterpart.
And again, with the rotation, you think he might be back in at the weekend. So
I'd have thought. So I think if you pay that money for a player, he's probably going to play. You'd have thought. Stevie Mallon, that's a weird one because he's been in my team from day one, and he got me -8 points the first week. But I'm keeping a bit of loyalty. That's been a theme of today's show.
His price has come down, hasn't it?
Price has come
What did it
right
start
down.
at 14 mil?
14 plus, yeah.
Aye, 14.2 I think. So
Definitely keep him in. Definitely
keep him in. They're at home at St Johnstone this week. I would back him to come good. And Billy Mackay, he's got a couple of goals already.
He's gone up a few mil, hasn't he?
He has indeed.
Billy's on fire.
And their home, as we've just seen against
They're
Livingston.
at home to Livingston. He's going to score at the weekend. Tell you that
Okay.
much.
Is that your tip?
That's my
got-
must picks.
He's gone beyond this, but he's got some alternate picks as well. If you don't fancy
some
him, he's got
alternate
others. Bit of value here, you think?
A bit of value. I mean, Liam Donnelly has gone up. He was around 6 million.
He was on that bench to start about
Aye.
6.6 million. He scored all these goals. Now he's up to 10.
A couple of goals against Celtic. On the Talking Boys podcast, we had people writing in saying to us that he's a contender for Young Player of the Year. He's done really well. So
Wait a minute.
They're giving out Young Player of the Year already.
Passing the season. Two games in.
I know Liam well. He was at Fulham.
Yeah.
He's a kid, very aggressive.
Can I ask you a question?
He was a
Attack
defender
stuff.
back then,
Yeah.
though, wasn't he? A defender.
Well, he can play defence,
Yeah.
midfield, but he's very aggressive when the ball's in the box.
See the games that I've seen, Peter, he takes a shot from anywhere. That's the one thing that's been fairly evident.
He's a lovely passer of the ball. He was one of these ones that used to clip it as a defender. It was quite unusual actually how well he hit it. He used to play as a right back and then he became a centre back and then he went into midfield in certain games. But was always aggressive at attacking the ball in opposition's box for sure.
John Gallagher as well at Aberdeen. Only the times I've seen him, he's been really industrious.
Fans
busy
like
midfielder. He's started every game as well. So you fancy Aberdeen to pick up a bit, get a few points. Doidge, couple of goals now, goal at the weekend, and again for a striker, 10.8 million's quite cheap. And I would have thought home at St Johnstone, goals this
And
weekend.
Canberra could be away. Who knows what might happen? But if Basel do come in with a bid, he might be the starting striker. Again, you like him,
If you
don't you?
put crosses in, he's fantastic in there. He doesn't look the biggest, but he's got an unbelievable lead.
Did you work with him?
No, not him. Not yet.
Well, now Joe Newell's out of Scott Allan's house. Maybe he's better
We're moving
than
in.
assists. That could be him. He's back in the
Exactly.
game. Look, I know you picked a team that fancy football. You've not done it in Scotland yet. We're going to get you involved in the league, but I'm going to run through your team. You sent me it.
Yeah.
Took you ages to pick it. I'm not sure about the budget for this yet, but let's just say
I
it
think it'll
fits.
cheap.
I think it might be all right. So you've gone Joe Lewis in goal.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
All
Was that a
day.
tough decision over any other
No,
keepers in
had
the league?
Joe
You
as a
think
young kid at Norwich.
he's had everyone?
Had him at Norwich and I thought he was outstanding there. Injury held him back and he'd been in the Premier League in England.
Okay.
Injury wouldn't he?
Your back four: Tavernier, Findlay, McKenna, and Taylor.
Yeah, worked with 3 of them now with Scotland.
So if you
the
work with someone
scenario-
basically, they're in your team.
No, because I can see what they can do.
Yeah.
Because they're very good defenders. You know, that they use the ball well. Greg can get forward and can deliver. You know, he's got good quality on the ball. The 2 other guys are good defenders, top defenders. I think they could turn into be.
He's
you
been
know.
mentioned to possible left back.
For Celtic.
For Celtic.
Yeah, he is.
Would you
He's-
think?
Yeah, he's a Celtic type left back.
Yeah.
He runs forward well, passes it well, and gets on the great delivery in the final third.
There you go. Your midfield, you've gone for a 5 here. You've got Lewis Ferguson, Callum
Defensive.
McGregor.
No,
Yeah.
no, I went with if you think about it, I've done like a diamond 4 with an outside left. That's what I've got.
It's not the way it looks on paper,
Right,
but anyway,
exactly.
I'll talk you through it. Right, so you get Lewis Ferguson, Callum McGregor, Ryan Christie, Scott Allan, not just because he
I've
was
got
on the show.
Ferguson. I've got Ferguson
Yeah.
right.
And Glenn Middleton as well, by the way.
Christie to the left.
Yeah.
McGregor at the bottom. I've got Middleton wide left. That's what I've got there.
Who's your main man?
And you're up top.
What was my other one?
It's got to be Morelos.
Lee Griffiths.
What?
All day
He's
long.
on the bench.
Doesn't matter.
It's a good shout.
All day long.
It's in my team as well.
Goal scorer. You know, it's either going to be him or Defoe. For no fun, anybody that gets chances, They're the two that will score the most goals.
I don't know if you've heard as well, Scott Allan actually won Pass of the Season. Don't know if you've heard that.
No, it's not been mentioned
Scott
yet,
Allan's
I'm
right.
sure. Yeah.
Scott Allan's on mine because he's the one
Yes.
that's going to be celebrating passing the ball through to Lee.
Good, so he's your man for assists. Listen, decent first effort, I think that.
Yes.
Good team.
Good.
Solid team.
If he's inside the top 15,000, I'd be surprised.
It's hard. Look, before we finish, we should look ahead to the midweek as well. More European ties for Rangers and Celtic. How do you see these going? These two games?
Yeah, they'll be difficult because of, it's a last qualifier. Stockholm's,
Legia Warsaw away for Rangers, as you know.
Yes, Legia, yes, they're decent. We've seen them a couple of years ago play against Celtic and get knocked out by default. I think if they won their game in hand, they got up to second place in the league.
He's done his research, Daniel.
So, yes, it's
you've got some key lines on this for us, don't you?
Couple of key
What
lines.
Can you tell us about
so,
Legia?
Legia Warsaw, the top scorer, Spanish boy Carlitos, 16 goals last season, 25 for Wisla Krakow the season before that. Looks like a decent player. Obviously, we know they beat Celtic a few years ago.
But different team.
Aye,
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
different team now.
Yeah.
I think there's only 2 players still there that were part of that team. And a couple of players that fans in Scotland might recognise. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his first name, but Novi Kovac that was at Hearts.
Arvidas.
Arvidas, is that it?
I don't think it's that
See,
tough.
that's a professional. It's a professional.
You can say it wrong and nobody can answer.
It's probably wrong.
Daniel,
Novi Kovac, is he a
terrorised
star?
you.
He's
terrorised you.
This just feels like a bad dream of day. And also Chesniak, the goalkeeper, who's at Dundee United.
What's his first name?
Radoslav.
Dave.
Radislav. Brilliant.
Again, I'm just hoping. I'm sitting here with my fingers crossed.
That's why you're the pro.
I'm googling this.
That's it. But aye, he's there as well, so I think it'll be a tough game for Rangers, but definitely a winnable tie.
And AIK, Stockholm for Celtic. Not an easy tie considering they're dropping down from the Champions League. It could have been far better.
Yes, it's tough for Celtic because of the respect, the criticism we've had in the last week. That's the biggest thing. They obviously want to be involved in Europe. It's so important for the big clubs to be involved in Europe. It's so important for Scottish football that the big clubs are involved in Europe. So it is a tough tie, but it's one that I'm sure Celtic can get through.
And you know a bit about AIK, don't you, for us? What can you tell us? I'm trying to Google Chersniak's name here, but I'm not sure I can spell it.
AIK at the weekend they played Kalmar in the Swedish
Lost.
League. They drew one each, but were booed off, and it was kind of their fans were really unhappy. They also drew one each against Sheriff in the Europa League at home. The fans were unhappy then, and also it's been a bit kind of quite a hot atmosphere off the pitch. The Swedish police had banned their ultra section, so the club in protest closed the whole stand and wrapped police tape across it. It was kind of doing the rounds on social media. So not the happiest of kind of camps, but I think it'll be tricky for Celtic.
And I know everyone behind the camera's been asking for weeks, why is Daniel caught on the show? And that's why he's on the show, that kind of
Finally
information.
justified it.
Isn't that unbelievable? There you go. Hey,
Perfect.
There you
played
go.
a blinder there on them.
Cheers, thanks,
we
Dan.
are very much out of time, and Anne's been telling me for about 20 minutes we're out of time actually. But before we go, there's a hashtag, Ladbrokes Social Club. Get involved because the next few weeks we're going to be giving away prizes. I think these guys have all donated some absolute beauty. So get in touch on social media. How can they do it? And on Twitter, anything they want, Instagram.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the world, the virtual world is your oyster.
Get involved on our YouTube channel as well to watch the programmes. And if you send in some good messages, you might win something good. And it will be good, won't it?
It might even be this jacket, who knows?
Well, avoid sending in anything at your peril. Guys, thank you very much. Really
Pleasure.
enjoyed that. And we will see you again next week.